Oh, right, it's a test. You're not just reading a book. So you're here for the HiSET, GED, or TASC reading test. You are definitely in the right place. Welcome to Purely Persistent. I'm Michelle, and I have a passion for empowering others to obtain a high school equivalency, develop a satisfying career, and ultimately achieve the happiness that everyone deserves. Welcome, I'm Michelle. If you're new here, click that subscribe button down below. The information in this video has come specifically from the HiSET at a Glance test. However, the TASC test is going to be very, very similar. The GED test is similar, however, the GED is Reading Language Arts, and it combines the reading and the writing together, whereas for the TASC and the HiSET, reading and writing are two different tests. So keep that in mind as you're watching this video. So the HiSET test is 50 questions long, and you get 65 minutes in English and 85 minutes in Spanish. Now that equates to 1 minute, 20 seconds per question in English. Be sure to check out these other videos so that you can improve your reading skills. The test here is broken into two categories. The first is literary, and that is 40% of the test. Now, literary is similar to fiction, and fiction means fake. So basically, it's just information or stories that people wrote. And this could include fiction, maybe poetry, actually probably poetry. There will be poetry on this. Give this video here a thumbs up if you'd like me to make a video on poetry, because it can be a little tricky. And also drama could be included in this 40%. 60% is going to be informational text. Now, that could include anything from science, social studies, history, as well as literary nonfiction. So maybe biographies or autobiographies, essays, interviews, government documents, history articles, magazines, journal articles, reports, scientific articles, speeches. Whew! A lot of that could be included in the informational, the 60% of the test. So the questions on the reading test are broken into 4 different categories. The first category here is comprehension. And as you're reading this, the test writers are looking to make sure that you really understand what you're reading, that you understand the explicit details that are in the text and the importance of those details in the text. Also, the meaning of different words. Like it might ask you, what does this word mean as far as the context of the sentence goes? As well as specific word choices and the tone of voice that is used in the actual article or reading. The second point is inference and interpretation. And so with this, you need to make sure that you can infer, which means they're not going to go out and tell you. You need to kind of use your background information and just kind of guess what they are talking about. You'll also need to draw conclusions. Okay, so based on what I just read, this is probably what's going on. Okay, so draw a conclusion based on what's happening, or be able to infer what's going to happen next. Also think about the traits and the feelings and the motives of the characters that are going on. Also, maybe at this point, there might be graphs or charts that would especially be in the informational text that you would need to be able to read. And finally, the non-literal language. And that's especially true in poetry. So maybe your onomatopoeia, which is like pop, bang, pow, or maybe using a metaphor, which is a comparison that does not use like or as. Next, we have analysis. And with the analysis, you want to make sure that you can determine the main idea. And also, what is the author's viewpoint or the speaker's purpose? You also want to consider, is it like a compare and contrast, or is it chronological? how is this specific reading written? And also, maybe think about, is it like a flashback or is it foreshadowing, like this is what's going to happen next? So really just think about the structure of how they wrote the article. The last point here is the last point here is synthesis and generalization. Okay, so with this, draw conclusions. So here they wrote about whatever, and here's the conclusion that you've made. Also, make predictions of this is probably what's going to be happening next. And compare and contrast, as we mentioned before, a lot of these kind of overlap a little bit. And then you need to be able to compare two articles, okay? So it might have one article and then another article, and there are questions about each of them, but then there are questions about how they're tied together. And so this is kind of be falling under this category here. Now, do you need to like memorize any of this? Absolutely not. I think one of the best ways to improve your reading skills is watch some of those other videos where I have a lot of tips, but just do a lot of practice questions on reading and that sort of thing. And that will really help you become a better reader and be able to answer these questions and pass the reading portion of the test. If anyone hasn't told you today, you are enough and you are so important in this world. I believe in you. Make sure that you believe in yourself. Work hard, study hard, and you will get this.